Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. So I am playing with Collage Soup images and I'm going to do an image transfer. So as you can see, this image is from the book The Street Oracle, one of the more recent ones that Emily's released. I'm going to be using this image here of this girl. I am going to start with some Dina Wakley black paint on my gel plate. So just a thin layer to start off with. And then gently laying the image on and just lightly pressing, lifting it off. So this is in real time, as you can see, and that image has transferred really well. So what you can see from this is that anywhere that the image is highly contrasted, so there's a lot of black and white, it's going to work really, really well. So the crown that was on there was like a gold colour. I can kind of see where that roughly is, and I'm going to paint that in. I'm just going with a baby wipe and just moving some of the smudges that I don't really want. And now I'm going to paint onto my gel plate. So one thing to bear in mind when you're doing this kind of technique is that whatever you put on first will show up as your first layer. So I can't really put anything over the top of this gold that I'm painting now because you won't see it when the image is printed into my journal. But of course, once I've transferred it into my journal, I can then go in and add things on top then. So you've got to kind of think a little bit backwards when it comes to decorating on top of your image on your gel plate. It is a little bit of a black art. It takes a bit of practicing. I've got to be honest. I have seen so many videos of people doing this technique. And I have tried so many times, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And you just have to go with that. But you can stencil directly onto your gel plate. As you can see, I've done there. I've given her some pink cheeks. And then I'm just going in with some other colours and adding more stenciling. This is a stencil from Natalie May, scrapbooking, of course, one of my favourite supplies. Yeah, different colours. Now, I can also, if I wanted to, I could then paint in over the background around the face. That would work. But basically, you can just go in and you can build up and add in colours as you go along. And it's a really fun way to play. Then I'm adding a skin tone onto the face as well. I think this is Dina Wakley Apricot, works quite nicely as a light skin tone. I really do think, whilst Dina's paints work well on the gel plate, I actually think for me, I find that the Amsterdam acrylic paints, I think I prefer those on the gel plate. But like I say, both do work quite well. So I'm just adding some white onto the gel plate now. So adding it over the top of that gold is just going to make that a bit more opaque. And those bits on the eyes, where the glasses where I've put the white, there must be like a catch light on there that I just wanted to catch as well. So when it comes to transferring the print to your journal, you need to make sure that your image is completely dry. Lots of people say to use a cool hairdryer. I was just using my heat tool, but as you can see, just keeping it moving quite quickly so that nowhere got too hot. Everywhere needs to be completely dry. And then you need to go in with your colour, and you do need an even, thin-ish, but not too thin, layer of paint over the top. It's got to be covered everywhere, right to the edges. And you want to kind of be able to see your image through the layer of paint, as that's kind of like your go-to. You can print straight into your journal and then set it aside and leave it for a little bit. Leave it for, I think I left that for a couple of hours, and then lightly peel it off. Okay, there we go. Now you can see that has left a little bit on the gel plate. Not that bothered, it doesn't matter. But you do get a very different look when you do an image transfer. So you're not going to get necessarily the crispness that you get from popping an actual image into your journal. And you might be sitting there thinking, well, what on earth is the point of this? Well, it's about playing, it's about trying different techniques. And just, you know, by doing these kind of things, you learn the things that you like, and the things that you don't. So those are things that you're not going to learn unless you try these different ways of creating. I kind of like this kind of sort of, I like the way it's transferred into my journal. I like the fact that it's not crisp and it's a bit hazy. That means that the image is there, and then I can come in and I can add a quote onto here, and it'll just all work. This is a Stabilo oil pencil that I'm using just to pull that image forwards, and then I'm just going to water activate some of those lines just to soften those a little bit. That's a water brush that I'm using there. You can see I've also added some stamping onto the crown as well. So now you've got that image on your journal page, you can then, if you want to, you know, that's like your starting point, isn't it? You can go in, you can add more stenciling, you can add mark making, you can add more colours, do whatever you want to kind of pull your page together. So then I'm using a Posca pen, and I'm going to write really big, bold letters onto my journal page. For me, the text and the words on my journal page are a very important part of my art journaling process. And they are almost, and I think I've said this many times, as important as the imagery that I use. My quotes often reflect how I feel, or something that's happened, or I don't know, something that keeps popping up in my life or daily life, like, I don't know, words. So this is how I journal about these things. I will often add a quote, and then I'll do some semic writing somewhere, which is just that scribbly style of writing where I know what it says, but no one else can actually read because it isn't, it's not legible enough to read. So there you go. You see I'm doing a little bit up the side, and then I'm going to write some more words around the bottom of her chin. I'm just adding more scribbly lines, just playing and having a bit of fun really, and seeing how I can kind of finish this off and pull it together. I could definitely, there are more, now I'm looking at this, I can see more things that I could have done. And even though she is kind of there in the background, um, I don't mind the fact even that her skin tone has gone kind of minty green as well. I'm okay with that. So just writing a few keywords on there, and then just doing a bit of sort of scripty style writing through the centre of my quote as well. And then going in with a pop of neon pink to finish off the page. So lots of fun to have a play with image transfer. Give it a go. The Collage Soup images work absolutely brilliantly. They are perfect for this technique. Don't forget you need one with high contrast. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see more content like this. And I hope to see you again soon.